Hi, I'm Deborah from Fish Museum and Circus, and in this video we're going to make a travel menorah with a bonus dreidel bag. We're going to start off with the glitter felt, and these are 2 pieces of glitter felt. This one is 2 inches by 8 inches, and this one is 1.5 inches by 8 inches. So first we're going to make the holes in what's going to be the top part. Which is the 2 inch by 8 inch piece of glitter felt. So the glitter felt has glitter on one side and is like a felt on the other side. It has a regular felt texture. And we're going to draw the spots where we want the holes to be on this wrong side. So we want 9 holes. And first we want to find the middle all the way down the length. And so since it's a 2 inch strip of felt, I'm going to measure just 1 inch all the way down the middle. And then we're going to mark where we want the holes. And I'm going to go in 1 inch from each side, and then 3/4 of an inch for the rest of the holes. And now we know exactly where the holes are going to be. And this is a standard size hole punch. It's a 1/4 inch hole punch. It's very standard size and very easy to get. And I'm actually just going to punch the holes for where the candles are going to go. And I'm going to turn it this way so that I can see the hole right where it's going to be, right on top of that mark that I made. And sometimes hole punches have a little cover here to catch all of the little pieces that come out. Mine doesn't seem to have that, so it's a little easier for me to see, but you can also lift that up or flip it the other way, whatever you like. So now that we have all of the holes, we are going to sew this top part to this bottom part. And when we sew one side edge to edge, and then if we sew the other side edge to edge, this part in the middle is going to come up because this piece is bigger, and it's going to create a little kind of 3-dimensional area so that where the candles can go in. So let's go to the sewing machine. You can also do this by hand. You could do an embroidery stitch along each side, or just a simple overcast, whatever you like. But I'm going to do this on the sewing machine. I have an edge stitch foot attached to my sewing machine and the needle over to the side so that it's easier to get just along the edge here, but you can use whatever foot you like. When I sew the other 2 sides together, I could just, since I've sewn down this side, turn this and do it this way from this end to this end. The thing is, I've learned that this kind of might twist a little bit. It can twist just from the pressure of the foot. So it actually works better if I can sew from the same corner, so the top edge here, down to the bottom edge in the same direction. So I'm going to turn it over and sew from the back. Now that we have the base of the menorah, it's time to make the candles. For the candles, we're going to need 8 pieces of felt that are 1 inch by 1.5 inch, and 1 piece of felt that is 1 inch by 2 inches. And this piece is so that we have a taller candle for the shamash, which is the helper candle that lights all of the other ones. So 8 of the 1 by 1.5 and 1 by 1 and 2 inches. For the flames, I have 2 colors of wool roving, the yellow and the tangerine. And I also have some of this Angelina fiber in the gold iridescent. And this is kind of fun. It makes just an extra sparkle. So we're going to just pull out a little bit of each of these colors to make kind of a wispy little bit. And this is going to fold up like this. So you want that kind of wispy bit on both ends. And then we'll do a little bit of the orange. Kind of see how that looks. And then what you can do with the Angelina fiber is you can just lay it in there and just add it in when you're kind of twisting things around. What's fun about the Angelina fiber is that you can actually iron it and it only sticks to itself. So I'm going to take out the iron and show you how that works. So I have, this is actually a needle felting pad, which I'm actually just going to use as a little ironing pad. And this is my Oliso project iron, which is really the perfect size for this. I have some of the Angelina fiber here, and I'm just going to roll over that middle part with the iron so that it all kind of sticks together and stays. I'll do a little bit more there. And you can see it doesn't stick to the pad, it doesn't stick to the iron. And then what I can do is put this with my roving, and I know that it's all going to stay together, that Angelina fiber, and then twist it. What you can also do with this is, if you are interested in needle felting, if you like to do that, you can needle felt all of this together and shape it however that you would like. But I'm just going to kind of twist everything and make a little flame shape like that. Another way of working with the Angelina fiber and the roving is to twist them together and then fold this in half and twist it the other way. And then to use the iron to fuse the Angelina fiber together. And even though it's not sticking to the roving, it helps to make the entire twist stay together. To make the candles, I'm going to put the flame on top of the piece of felt, kind of the long way, not going all the way down to the bottom, but about half to 3/4 of the way down. And then I'm going to roll the felt over the top of the flame. And it is helpful to have some little clips or pins or something to hold this all together, because this can get a little bit finicky. And I'm going to start to sew at the top near the flame. And I'm going to go in from underneath here, and we'll trim that little end off after. I'm going to use the end of the needle to just make sure everything is nice and tight. And then sew straight across to the other side, and then in at an angle, and then straight across, and we'll move that clip out of the way. Then at an angle, and then straight across and at an angle. And we're going to go all the way down and try to keep the felt in a tight roll because we want to make sure that it's going to fit into the hole that we made. It helps to use the needle to keep everything tucked inside. Because the flame didn't go all the way down, the bottom of the candle is going to be narrower, which is actually what we want so that it can easily fit into the hole in the menorah. And at the bottom, I'm just going to take a few extra stitches to make sure that it does go in at the bottom a little bit so that it fits into the hole. And that fits just right. So let's make the rest of the candles. So let's make sure that all of our candles fit into the menorah. The shamash, the helper candle, was made the same way with the longer piece of felt so that it's just a bit taller than the other candles. And we'll put that one in the middle. And then we'll add all the other candles to make sure that they fit right. So there we go. There's all the candles in the menorah. And what is so nice about something like this is that you can take this anywhere that you wouldn't want either something big or something breakable, or a place where you can't have any flames. This is great for a dorm room that you wouldn't be able to have any open flames, or if you're traveling during the holiday, or just for fun. Benzie has these nice canvas banners with the point at the bottom. And this is the small size. They also come in medium and large. And they have a channel that goes through the top so that you could put a dowel or you could string them on something. But what is really nice is that these make the perfect dreidel-shaped bag. You're going to need 2 of the banners for a bag. And you can decorate them however you would like. What I have done with one of them is used some wool floss and some gold ribbon to do some chain stitching, really simple, just along the edge of the casing underneath here and one over here. I have also cut a piece of the glitter felt 3/4 of an inch by 9 inches long to make the handle. And I'm going to do this all on the sewing machine, but you could do this all by hand. And the first thing I'm going to do to make it easier, because I'm using the sewing machine, is actually to put the handle on. So I'm going to just line this up, the end of this strip on one side here, and you can put a pin or a clip. And I'm going to sew this on, and then I'm going to do the other side here, and then we're going to put the bag together. To sew on the handle, I'm just going to sew around the end of the handle where it overlaps the banner. I've clipped the other end of the handle to the other banner so that the two banners are actually connected by the ends of the handle. And I'm going to sew around this end as well. I've changed the color thread on my sewing machine so that it matches the color of the banner. And I've clipped the two banners together so that I can sew around the sides and the bottom to make the bag. Here's the finished dreidel bag, and you can store whatever that you would like in here, and you can even put in all of the candles from the menorah, and you can fit the menorah itself.